Well, today we are talking to a good friend of not only myself personally for many, many years, but a great friend of the racing world, the fans, and especially the drivers. Not just this man, but his whole crew, but he heads the crew up. Jay Masur joins us here today. Jay, great to have you talking with us.
Hey, Mark. It's great to be here.
You.
Thank you.
And you and I have been on microphones together over many, many years, and we've worked at a racetrack at Huset Speedway for lots of years, probably 20 years roughly, where you've been providing the safety crew, and I've been the announcer at the Speedway at the events, hundreds upon hundreds of events, and we have seen sprint cars and stock cars, all types of racing vehicles take violent crashes on the racetrack that took everyone's breath away. And within seconds, in most cases, the wheels haven't even stopped spinning from a car that's tipped upside down. You're there on the scene. And it's just amazing. So we've talked about the dangers and how you provide safety in the sport of racing. And it's been quite a interesting several years watching you work.
You know, Mark, it all kind of started back with my dad back in 1976 when there was an unfortunate accident at the Speedway and a driver died. My dad and I were up in the stands. I was 13, 14 years old at that time. After that driver died, at that point they had a hearse down there that worked rescue. And my dad was a Sioux Falls fireman and frankly one of the first EMTs on the Sioux Falls Fire Department, and ran that service for them. The week after that terrible accident, my dad began working at the Speedway as a training session for the Sioux Falls firemen. And everything that we see today is all based on what he did back then.
All right. Racing, a very dangerous sport, and you mentioned something we don't like to talk about, fatalities, but truth be known, we've had cases where there was a fatality on a racetrack where I was on the microphone and you were down on the track with the rescue crew. I'm thinking back to a tragic event about 13 years ago, back in 2001 at a Speedway, driver Steve Hammond. I'll never forget that event. So it's a very dangerous sport. The driver's utilizing the most sophisticated safety equipment. Let's talk about a driver, one of the best-known drivers around the world, Tony Stewart, and that's something I'd like to focus on in this interview at this point. We recently had Tony racing here in Sioux Falls last summer, and it was a record crowd at the Speedway. And after that, about a month or so later, he was involved in a crash down in Iowa, at Southern Iowa Speedway, a severe leg injury. And you were there on the scene at that time. And you, at that point, came to the call of duty, and from that point on, built a relationship with Tony. Tell us how that all happened.
Well, that's true, Mark. You know, we've been working that show for Terry McCarl 11, 12 years now. And we were down at that particular show when Tony got into his accident. And, you know, through years and years of training, in my line of work, Mark, there's no books. There's nothing you can read to teach you how to do it. We've learned all of what we know by making mistakes in the past, and we've learned from those mistakes, and we've gone forward with them. This injury that Tony sustained is a very serious injury. We've dealt with these injuries before with other drivers, but not to this extent. It was a pretty serious injury. And you know, through all of the past 35 years of what we've done as a team, as a race rescue team, we did the absolute best we could for Tony, as we would any driver. And thank God the outcome at the end of the day was good for him. Tony
has made the statement publicly on a national level that you very possibly saved his career with your skills, with your work. It was a very serious leg injury. You built a friendship with him, and you've been in close contact with him a number of times since then, over the off season. Even in person, there's been quite a friendship.
That is true. You know, first off, saving his career, let me tell you that we've got a good group of guys that we go out and do what we can at these racetracks, fire safety, extrication medically, and all that kind of thing. It's very humbling for a man of his stature to come forward and say some of the things he's been saying about myself and my team. I'm humbled about that. I will put a lot of this on our training, but at the end of the day, you know, there's a bigger power than me out there on my team, and that's God. And I believe that He plays a big role in what we do and the outcomes of individuals. So the humbling thing, when Tony Stewart talks about our team and myself the way he does, there's nothing more humble in the world that I've really heard from somebody other than what he's been saying nationally about us and our team.
Nobody probably knows better the dangers involved in racing than a driver like Tony Stewart. If you look at high speeds, the faster you're going, the more dangerous it is. Tony just set the fastest lap at over 195 miles per hour last weekend down in Texas, earned the pole for the race down there. So he knows all about in NASCAR now. So when he climbs into a sprint car, he knows the dangers as well as when he's in his stock car, the 200 mile per hour stock car. He now, after this injury and building the friendship with you, he's taking an active role in promoting track safety crews and safety. I think there's going to be some big things to come in the future with safety at the racetracks that Tony's going to be pushing for.
Huge. You know, Tony and I talked about this as we were together for a few days. His passion for racing is humongous. My passion for safety is humongous. I've got the same passion in my line of work that he has in his, and he recognizes that. Tony not just wants to be, but is going to be a premier part in safety in dirt track racing. I'm going to be able to take my knowledge and the knowledge of our team over the road, countrywide, worldwide, and teach these other tracks the proper way to put out these alcohol methanol fires, the proper way to extricate people out of these butler seats and these formed seats, and the proper way to medically treat these people. And, we've done that locally a lot around here, Mark, as you know. But we're taking this out. The deal is a lot of these tracks don't have what we have. But is it negligence or is it just not knowing? And we're going to go with the part of not knowing. And we're going to help teach these people to know what to do at their tracks on a regular local basis when these types of emergencies happen. And with Tony's help, I think it's going to be huge. And we're going to take dirt track race rescue and turn it into something that this world has never seen before.
All right. With you saving Tony and helping him when he was in need after a bad crash on a racetrack, and now the friendship that's developed, now you guys, this partnership, this friendship is going to reshape racing in the days to come. And we're going to see Tony Stewart making a presence with you. He now sponsors your team, correct?
He does, from head to toe, state-of-the-art thing. So, yes, he's sponsoring our team, and it's going to be a huge asset for not just us, but everybody.
All right. Jay, thank you so much for your time here today.
Thank
And
you, Mark.
Always great seeing you, working with you, and talking with you. And there you have it, folks. There's what's coming down big in the sport of racing. I'm Mark Tassler.